Arjuna returns from his 12-year exile, and with him comes prosperity also to Khandava Prastha. He starts winning a lot of kingdoms for his brother, bringing other kings under their suzerainty, and slowly Khandava Prastha is expanding its reach. More and more people in neighboring countries decide to come and settle in Khandava Prastha now, but this is still a slow process. They don't have enough land. In time, Krishna arrives at Khandava Prastha. He has come from Dwaraka to spend some time with the Pandavas and his sister Subhadra. One day, when it is really hot, Arjuna suggests to Krishna that they should go towards Yamuna and spend some time in the cooler climate there. Krishna, Arjuna, Draupadi, Subhadra, and many other people with them travel to the banks of Yamuna, have fun and frolic there. Krishna and Arjuna are sitting by the side and talking about the great achievements they have done when they were away from each other, and something happens which will forever change the fate of Khandava Prastha. As Arjuna and Krishna are sitting on the sides and talking about their various conquests, a brahmana arrives. His eyes are lit like fire, and his hair is the color of gold. Instantly, Krishna and Arjuna both stand up in respect for this brahmana and ask him what he is looking for. He says, "I am hungry, and I'm so hungry that I could eat this entire forest." Confused, Arjuna and Krishna ask him what he means and how they can help him. This brahmana turns out to be the god of fire, Agni. And he says, "I want to eat this entire forest to satiate my hunger, but Indra's friend Takshaka lives in that forest, so every time I try to set fire to it and eat all the creatures in it, Indra will rain upon it and extinguish the fire. I'm looking for two brave and skilled warriors who will be able to stop Indra from extinguishing the fire, and also any animals that try to escape from the fire in the forest." Arjuna tells Agni that we are those warriors, but we don't have the right kind of weapons. Now, if only I had a bow that was so powerful that it could handle the speed at which I fire. If only I had a few quivers which contained inexhaustible arrows that I could use to create a net of arrows over the forest. And if only I had a chariot that could carry the weight of such a quiver, and horses that were white and radiant and strong enough to draw such a chariot, I will be able to help you. And my friend Krishna here is very powerful, but he lacks a weapon that he could use to stop Indra from attacking. Agni says that can be easily fixed. So he reaches out to his friend, the god of water, Varuna, and asks for everything that Arjuna needs. So Arjuna gets from Varuna the Gandiva bow, two quivers of inexhaustible arrows, a chariot like no other in the world, and white horses that are as radiant as Arjuna expected them to be. Krishna also gets from Varuna Sudarshana Chakra, a discus that he could throw to kill his enemies. With all these weapons in hand, Arjuna and Krishna start defending the forest against Indra's attack, and also stopping and blocking the way of the creatures within the forest that may escape. Agni sets fire to Khandava Vana, and everywhere animals start falling dead. Any animal that tries to escape, Arjuna and Krishna are there to take care of it, and they send it back into the forest. Indra, when he is told that this forest is being burned, is angry and starts raining upon it. But by now, the forest fire is burning so hot that his clouds are evaporated along the way. And any water that may reach, because of how heavy the rain is now blocked by a net of arrows that Arjuna has created from his inexhaustible quiver. This now has become a battle of ego. Indra starts summoning everybody he can, and to his help arrive Suparnas, the great eagles who are relatives of Garuda. To his help come serpents or nagas, and gods, and Gandharvas, and Yakshas, and Rakshasas, and all of them fight with Indra against Krishna and Arjuna, and they still lose to the two warriors. All the gods also attack and are taken aback when they can no longer fight to the might of Arjuna and Krishna. Tired and frustrated, Indra cuts off a peak of Mandara and throws the entire mountain at Krishna and Arjuna, and they are somehow able to survive that also, although it ends up killing a lot of other creatures in the forest. But from out of nowhere, a disembodied voice comes, an Akashvani, if you will, which announces to Indra that, why are you even doing all this? Takshaka, your friend, is not here in Khandava Prastha at all. After hearing this, Indra returns back to Swargaloka. Indra no longer cares about who lives and who dies. Everybody in the forest dies except 6 people: a snake, an asura, and 4 birds. The land that is procured after burning the forest down will now be used by Pandavas to finally expand their kingdoms from Khandava Prastha and become even bigger and better, and one day go on to shine as the place to be. It will then be called Indraprastha. This is the end of Adi Parva. The snake that escapes from Khandava Vana is called Ashvasena. Ashvasena's mother is trying to escape with Ashvasena in her mouth. And as she is almost flying out of the conflagration, Arjuna spots it and hits an arrow that cuts off the neck of the snake. And while the mother falls in the forest, Ashvasena himself, a small snake fit into his mother's mouth, falls outside of the forest and survives. He watches how his mother has died and who killed her. This Ashvasena will one day come back to seek revenge. But that's a story for another day. The Asura who survived, Mayasura, turns out to be a great architect and a builder. And he is eventually hired to build the palace of illusions for Pandavas. That also is a story for another day. The 4 birds that survive, it is a long story going deep into whether a woman cares more about her husbands or her children, and leads to a lot of conflicting morals. As interesting as that story is, we will not be covering it in this series, but it is referenced here as extra credits for you to go and look into if you want.